Hello friends, welcome to my channel Creating Essence. I am Megan. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today I am taking part in an awesome seasonal collaboration about everything pumpkin. I love pumpkin. I hate pumpkin pie. I do not like most pumpkin spice lattes, but in general, I love pumpkins. I love the colors. I love the decor. I even love my pumpkin mug. But today I am taking part in this collaboration that was created by Rachel of Day to Day Joys. It is an open collaboration for anyone who wants to participate, and we're all just sharing one of our favorite things pertaining to pumpkin, decor or clothing or things or recipes. And as much as I love this cute little mug, look at that. It's so cute and it's big. It's huge. It's not my favorite thing about pumpkin. What I'm going to be sharing with you today is a recipe. This recipe is something I came across years ago when I was on the hunt for some good allergy-friendly recipes. Now this may be allergy-friendly and it may be pretty healthy, but it is delicious. Every Thanksgiving and Christmas season through the fall and winter, I make these for potlucks and to take to friends. And people are always shocked that it is allergy friendly, depending on your allergy, but very easily modified for lots of allergies. And it's pretty stinking healthy. It's really good. And they're rich and delicious. Oh, it's our favorite for a reason and not just because of the allergy aspect. So come along, let's make some pumpkin cinnamon rolls. Our first step is to put our burner on medium-high. Then to the pan, we add ½ cup oil. Butter works well if you can do dairy. I'm using coconut oil here, but you can use any oil. And next, 1½ cups of milk. I am using almond milk. You can use cow's milk or any milk that works for your family. Just going to stir this a little. Let it warm up. We don't want it to boil, just to get to nice and hot. Once it's gotten quite warm and just about to steaming, we'll add a ½ cup of sugar. I am using organic raw cane sugar, also called turbinado. There are a few other names for it. Now that it's come back to steaming and the sugar has completely dissolved, add it to my large mixing bowl. We're going to let this sit for just a couple of minutes to cool down before we add our yeast and pumpkin puree. And in the meantime, I'll get out the other ingredients. Alright, now that it is still warm, but not over 100 so it won't kill our yeast, we will sprinkle over this mixture 1 tablespoon of yeast. And we're just going to leave it like that to sit for about 5 minutes. Now it's time to give this a little stir. We add 1 cup of pumpkin. This is just plain pumpkin puree. And then we add 4 cups of flour, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves, ½ teaspoon of ground ginger, ½ teaspoon of nutmeg, and 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now we spin it all up. Stop every now and then to scrape the sides. Then mix it a little more to make sure it's all combined. Now we're going to cover this with a towel and let it sit for about an hour until it gets nice and puffy and doubles in size. Now we're going to start on the filling. 1 cup of the raw organic cane sugar, ½ teaspoon cinnamon, ½ teaspoon ginger, ½ teaspoon nutmeg, and just a tiny pinch of clove. And now we add ½ cup of unrefined organic coconut oil. If you're doing this with dairy, you can certainly use ½ cup of butter. Totally fine. In that case, you would melt the butter. And because we're using the turbinado, just like before, we put it in with the wet ingredients so the crystals have time to melt a little bit. 1 cup of nuts. Today we're using walnuts. You can use pecans or pecans or pecans. You can use any of them. Crush up a cup of them. A lot of times when we're taking these as gifts for other people, like when we take them down to the firehouse or the EMS station, because we've got a child who particularly loves ambulance rides, so we like to thank them with goodies. We will leave nuts out or do half with nuts, half without. For a whole recipe, 1 cup of crushed up nuts. Looking good. Now we need to add a few last ingredients before we roll it out. We have another ½ cup of unbleached organic all-purpose flour, ½ of a teaspoon of baking powder, ½ of a teaspoon of baking soda. And now we mix it all together until it's well combined. All set. It is slightly less tacky and we are ready to turn it out onto our floured surface. We are preheating the oven to 375. Our fillings are ready and we can turn the dough out to roll it into a big, even rectangle. And here we have it all rolled out. Not super thin, but not really thick either. It's just about covering my whole rolling mat, which is 23 by 16 inches. So that is pretty much perfect. I've spread the filling mixture pretty evenly over the whole thing. Since we are going to roll this down into a log that will be in this direction and we'll be cutting it in slices, I'm just going to sprinkle the nuts, about 3/4 of them, over about 1/3 of the dough down here, so not all of it has nuts. Now if you are cooking for someone with an allergy and not just someone who doesn't like nuts, my husband doesn't like the nuts in his, you need to not put any nuts on the entire thing because the oils will still get in and it will be cross-contaminated. But it's just my husband that doesn't like nuts. So we'll put the walnuts down here and the rest will be walnut free. Now I'm going to start at the edge furthest away from me, and I am just going to gently roll this down toward me evenly and just keep going back and forth until the whole thing is rolled up. That if you're working with a dough that's a little tackier like this one, you can use one of these dough scrapers and just slide it under the edge and fold it over. It works just as well. And there we have it. You can see it's a little bulkier down here where we have the nuts. The rest of it is more narrow and it is all set and ready to slice. You want to do them about 1/2 inch to 2/3 of an inch thick. I have found a good serrated edge bread knife does best to cut this dough really smoothly without mushing. And let's see if I can do this with one hand right now. It works best if you anchor this part with one hand and slice here. But I have these greased pans, the ones with nuts. I'm putting in this deeper pie dish, and the other 2/3 of the recipe I will put in this 9 by 13 pan. And there we have it. Now they're going to rest for about 15 minutes just to get a little puffier. I was able to pack 6 in this little pie plate. I probably should have put them in a bigger container. And then another 9 that don't have nuts in it here in this 9 by 13 pan with some more elbow room. I'm going to cover them up and just let them get a little puffy for about 15 minutes. So in the oven we go for about 18 minutes. Because we want to frost them as soon as they come out of the oven when they're nice and warm, we will make the frosting while they bake. You can do a very basic icing, which is also delicious, but we prefer a cream cheese-like frosting. We have about 1 cup of cream cheese that is softened, 2 cups of sifted powdered sugar, half of a cup of milk, I'm using almond milk, and a dash of salt. And then you mix it to a nice creamy frosting. There they are. They are puffy and soft and a beautiful texture. These are the ones with nuts, and we will go ahead and frost them right now. Give it a little chance to soak in. And there we have it. 2 kinds of pumpkin cinnamon rolls. Thank you so much for sticking around and checking out one of my favorite pumpkin recipes as part of Rachel's Everything Pumpkin collaboration. This is an open collaboration, so you can add your favorite things that are everything pumpkin too. I would love to hear in the comments if you've tried this recipe or anything like it. This is egg-free, it can be done nut-free, it's dairy-free, it's soy-free, and it's still really, really good. So give it a try. I'll put the full recipe in the info box below. Please check out the rest of the wonderful ladies in the playlist that is linked below, and give this video a thumbs up. This is one of our favorite Thanksgiving, fall time, and even Christmas recipes. It's so fun to share these traditions with you all. Bye-bye, friends.